You're listening to Good Morning Gwinnett, a division of ABK Media Group, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, sharing stories about people and places around beautiful Gwinnett County every day at 9 a.m. Southern living at its best.
Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Good Morning Gwinnett. I'm your host, Audrey Bell Kearney. Happy Tuesday. Happy to be here with you this morning. Got a great guest for you today, boy. The Queen of Finance herself, Miss Laurie Goodman, is going to be coming here talking to you about the money, because it's all about the Benjamins, baby. It's all about the Benjamins. Before we get started, I got to give my shout out to the nonprofit for People Helping People segment of the day. This shout out goes out to a People Helping People company. Is called Adventure Bags Inc. And this is, I tell you, man, I look at these different organizations and the work that they're doing, and it is amazing. But it's helping so many people. And this one is called Adventure Bags, and it's located in Auburn, Georgia. Now, what Adventure Bag does is, I think I talked about foster parenting yesterday. Today, I'm talking about foster children. And I don't know if you've ever seen a foster child that had to leave home in a rush or something. But normally when they leave, their stuff is packed in a garbage bag. They don't really have like a suitcase or anything like that. And they just have to throw stuff in a garbage bag. And you'll see them dragging like a garbage bag from place to place. Well, Adventure Bags wants to put a stop to that, because the one thing that they understand is that when those kids leave home, they really don't have a lot. And they want them to have something of their own. So they have got together an organization that provide backpacks and book bags to children who are being displaced. And inside that bag, they get certain things like, their own. They get their own toothbrush. They get their own toothpaste. They get like a journal so they can write in and talk about this, this whole thing. They get a hair comb, they get socks, coloring books, crayons, things like that, just things, underpants and things, stuffed animals, things that's going to make them feel like that they have something that belongs to them. And that's really important, because when a child is displaced, that changes their life forever. You can see what happened, with that whole border crisis, with the children being taken away from the parents. I can't even imagine what that's like, And for some of these children, their life is living out of a bag, unfortunately. And so, and a lot of times it's a garbage bag, So Adventure Bags, they want to put a stop to that. And as of January 21st, 2018, they have delivered 21,985 bags. That is a lot. Now, listen, that means that there are a lot of displaced children, because one bag went to each child. So you can get involved with the Adventure Bag by going over to their website. It's adventurebags.org, or you can give them a call at 678-425-0316. They need your help. They have items and things that they need. Of course, money is always a welcome. So if you want to make a monetary donation, you can give them a call, or just go to the site and make a donation. They have a donation button there. But if you want to donate some things, they're looking for diapers and wipes and bibs and bottles. Of course, they're looking for bags and backpacks, toothpaste, toothbrushes, washcloth, crayons, small toys, what else? Combs, coloring books, stuffed animals, blankets, hair conditioner, shampoo, deodorant, pencil, journals, just a lot of stuff. So if you want to help them and find out more about what they do, adventurebags.org. They're looking for your help. They need your assistance. That is our People Helping People segment of the day. Let's help them out. 678-425-0316 is the telephone number. And their address, if you want to mail them something, is Adventure Bags Inc. at P.O. Box 702, Auburn, Georgia 30011. Adventure Bags Inc., P.O. Box 702, Auburn, Georgia 30011. Okay, let's get on with the show, baby. Listen, this lady right here, I've known her for quite some time. And when I tell you, she has been helping people buy homes, fix credit, learn how to budget, because you got to learn. Listen, you want to buy a house, you have to know how to budget. You have to fix your credit. She's a certified credit specialist, and she's all about building generational wealth for you and your family. But you can't do that if you don't know how to budget the money. You can't do that if you don't have enough money coming in. So without further ado, I would like to welcome my guest today, Miss Laurie Goodman, the Queen of Finance. Welcome, Laurie.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. I know you are all about the money. You probably need to be somewhere making some extra money, but I do appreciate the fact that you're here with me and my audience this morning to talk about the Benjamins, baby. Listen, it's tax time. Right? It's tax time and everybody's talking about the money. Are we going to get it? Are we not going to get it? But when we get it, what should we do with it? Because, I know a lot of folks is waiting so they can go shopping. What should they do with that money?
Well, the first thing that I tell people all the time is don't live for your income tax return because you never know what may happen. Now, for those people that get income tax returns yearly, and they're excess of $1,000 up to $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. If you live right the rest of the year, that money can go into different accounts that can help you build wealth. And what I mean by that is one of the things that people don't do is budget, prioritize, set goals. If you did those things first, then when you got your income tax money, it wouldn't be to pay a bill. It wouldn't be to pay a collection account. It wouldn't be to pay a garnishment. It would be for you to do whatever you needed to do at that moment in time. So we have people that go out and get their income tax money and they buy a car. If you need a car and you need that money as a down payment, that's fine. But what if you would have taken the time to create a realistic everyday budget, day-to-day budget? Then you would have had that money to put aside into an account that can build you higher yields on your money.
Laurie, for a lot of people, when they think of budget, they just think that, I'm going to write something on some paper and that's going to be my budget. But can you kind of explain what the components of a budget are?
Absolutely. Categorizing. The number one thing that people don't do, as you said, they usually just get a piece of paper, they write down what they owe, they write down how much, what they owe, and then they pay it every month. But if you categorize your subjects, like, for example, if you are a homeowner or if you pay rent, put that in a particular category. If you are someone who likes the theater or movies, then do an entertainment budget. If you're someone who has a car note, do a car note budget. It all is going to equal out to the same thing, but you need to see where your money is actually going. One of the things that I always advise people who are really trying to get their finances together is open up more than one checking account. A lot of times people put their money in one account, and then they pay their bills from that one account. Try something different in 2019. Categorize your items. Have separate accounts. People say, well, Laurie, how many accounts do I need to have? I tell people all the time, if you own a home, you always need to have an emergency home account. But in spite of just having that, you still need an emergency account because you need to make sure if something happens to you on your job or if you just get sick, that you have funds to pay your every monthly, installment that you honor every month. The other thing, too, is if you like to travel, if you like music, the one thing that people don't do is try to live as simple and as happy as they can until they can get to where they need to go. Like, I don't advise people to take every dime that they have, pay every bill that they have, do this month after month after month, and then have nothing to show for anything. You have to treat yourself every once in a while to stay focused on the ending goals. If you don't, then people get tired. That's how debt becomes collections. That's how debt becomes judgment, because people get tired and say, look, I want to do something else with my money. But if you prioritize, you set your goals on where you want to do, and do small goals. You don't have to pay off one bill in 2 months. You know, take your time, pay off your debt so that once it's done, it's done.
Let me just say this. You mentioned something that was very important. You said have a home emergency fund. I could tell you a horror story. When we bought our first house, we had been in the house literally probably 3 days. And we went to Walmart because we went to go, get the towels and the curtains and all this stuff, went shopping. Came back home. It was literally 3 days. We came back home. We walked through the front door and there was water pouring down right at the front door, just pouring down like it was raining in the living room. And we were like, what the heck is that? Well, a pipe had burst. And we had just bought the house. Now, had we not had an emergency fund, that would have been a huge expense. And we're trying to figure out where to get this money from. So she's absolutely right when she says you need to have a home emergency fund. In that year, like in that first 6 months of having that house or owning that house, the second thing that happened is we had a flood. We had 2 feet of water in the basement. But because we had the proper insurance, and we had an emergency fund, we were able to go in there and get that stuff cleared up right away. So that's very important. And I think a lot of people don't think about it like that. They think I'm going to get this house, or, I want to get a house. I'm just going to save some money and I'm going to get the house. But what happens once you get the house?
Right. That's absolutely correct. And the thing is, people are like, well, I have an emergency fund. But do you have a home emergency fund? It should be separate from your basic emergency fund, because your home is for your home. Your emergency is for your emergencies. Then people are like, well, Laurie, they're two different things. They're the same thing. And I'm like, no, they're two different things. You need to have money for major repairs for your property and upkeep. And then you need to have an emergency fund in case something happens with your everyday funding, your paycheck. It's important. And people don't realize it, or they'll have one account and have $1,000 in it and say, well, that's enough. Well, no. You need to start off with the goal of having 3 months worth of your salary in your emergency account. As far as your home account, as long as you put something in it, it will grow.
Right.
It can be as little as $50 a pay period. It could be designated $150 a month. But I can tell you that money will grow. And if something happens, having majority of the money or half of the money is better than not having any of the money.
That is so. And I don't think people think about it like that either. They don't think that if I put $50 every pay into an account, it's going to grow. And I saw something the other day that was so... Now, I have my insurance license and financial services and things like that. And I think the first thing that the first time I saw the rule of 72, that's what got me to want to get into financial services. And then that was a long time ago. That was like 1999 when I first saw that. But I was looking at something. Somebody sent out a chart, and I kind of forgot about the rule of 72. And it showed you how if you put $5 in an account and you doubled that money every single day, it showed the amount of money that you would have at the end of a year. It was crazy. And I was like, I had forgotten all about that. So I don't think people think about like the small stuff, like save your change, take advantage of the, like Bank of America, it's called Save the Change, I think, or something. So you spend $1, if you only spend 60 cents, $40 go into a savings account. That adds up.
It does. And then, little things, the envelope system, the jar system. I have a large, it comes to about maybe 3 feet of a beautiful gotten from Hobby Lobby. And it's about halfway filled with change. And that's the money that I'm going to use when I go to Greece. So I tell people it doesn't matter, what your method is. It's just getting in the habit of saving. Like I also say $5 bills. I say $5 bills. I put them in an envelope system because that's what I use when I travel. So there's a lot of ways that you can save, that you need, want, or have to have, because some people have things. But it's about prioritizing, being realistic with your budget, understanding with every dime of
Laurie, your phone is going in and out.
Charting is one of the most.
So now, what is charting? What is charting?
Charting is when you write down every dime you spend. You know, you want to do it daily. You want to keep an envelope either.
Your phone is going in and out, Laurie.
I'm so sorry. I'm trying to stand somewhere different in my office, so forgive me just to see if it would be clear. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you sound great now.
Okay. All right. I apologize for
That's
that.
Okay.
Charting means being accountable for every penny that you spend. And one of the things that people won't do is some people don't even know where the receipts are. You know, put an envelope in your car for your gas receipt. End of the month, chart it. Like I chart every day. And I write down everything I spend, if it's $1, if it's $2, if it's $30, because if you can't visually see where your money is going, you'll never have any. So you have to realize that your money and your goals and your priorities and your emergency funds and your everyday necessities and your monthly necessities are important, because you need to see where your weaknesses are. Do you have enough money every month? Do you need to get a part-time job for 6 months? Do you need to ask for help? One thing that people never do because they think they can do it themselves is ask for help. Audrey, are you there?
Okay, yeah, because I lost you for a second. You know, I talked about that on, I don't know, I think it was episode 20. I talked about asking for help, because that's really, we think we can do everything by ourselves. You know, I don't want, plus, okay, check this. Most people don't want you to know that they need help. So they live life fronting as if they don't, and they're struggling instead of, and sometimes, Laurie, I don't know if you've experienced this, I'm sure you have. People make the worst decisions that they could have avoided if they had only said something to somebody.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I've had, you know, and my thing is that I don't have a problem helping. People don't have to take your advice, because a lot of times people will listen to what you have to say and still make those wrong decisions and come back later on and say, Laurie, I should have listened to you. I mean, I know between people buying homes that they really couldn't afford at the time, to them losing them maybe 2, 3, 4 years later, coming back to me saying, I wasted so much money, and it was all because I didn't want to listen to you. I was so excited about thinking that I truly could afford this property that I just went on and did it, and now I'm out of thousands and thousands of dollars.
Right.
You know, and those things are important. I remember when I was younger, my dad, I was so excited. I probably was about 22, 23, you know, out of college, and I came in the house and I had this Cindy bag, and I tell the story all the time. And my mother and father sitting there, and I'm like, look at my pocketbook, you know. I saved my money for this pocketbook. And my father said, well, how much was this pocketbook? And I think at the time maybe it was like $499. And I was proud of this pocketbook. And my father looked up to me, you know, he could care less about the pocketbook. And he said to me, so how much money do you have in your wallet? It just took the air out of my sail.
Wow.
Because I had $33 in my wallet. And he said, now how much sense does that make?
Wow.
And I was just so, after that, I was like, okay, no, we're going to have to do better than this. And it is nice to have nice things. Plan for them. You can have anything you want if you plan for it correctly. But you got to prioritize.
That is a great story, girl. Now, you know I'm over here thinking about a book you need to write, right? That is a great story. I can just visualize. I'm just visualizing when you said, how much did the purse cost? You said $4.99. He said, how much do you have in it? You said $33. I could just visual, as you said that, I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
wow.
It was eye-opening for me. It was, you know, I was glad that it came from him and not someone else. But when I tell you that it was eye-opening, it was definitely eye-opening.
Wow.
So, my thing is, if you chart for a month, then chart for 2 months. If you can chart for 6 months, then 99% of the time you will be successful in your finances. Because once you see where your money goes, you'll be able to make the proper changes that you need for the future. Because that's really what it's all about, is understanding where your money is going on a daily basis.
And you know, Laurie, that's really just creating a new habit. I think for a lot of people, we have these really bad habits that we, had pretty much all of our lives. But when it's time to create a new habit that's going to benefit us, it's like the hardest. It's like going through a 12-step program to create this new habit. Charting is a habit that you have to create. It's going to have to be a way of life like anything. One of the things I always talk about is like weight loss. I compare everything to weight loss because, all the diets will work if you work them. Oh, this diet didn't work for me. Charting won't work for me. It won't work if you don't work it. So you have to work the charting. You have to make a commitment. I'm not saying that I'm the greatest person at doing it, but I will sit down and put out an expense sheet, and I go over my expense sheet every day. Like, okay, this is what I spend. My husband calls me a black Jew. He's like, you're a black Jew. And it's only because I am very conscious about the money that I spend. I'm an entrepreneur. And so for a lot of us who are not running a e-commerce site or something like that, that money comes in when it comes in. So you have to be able to budget and know where the money is going and how to leverage it out. So you can, you have to create a real budget around the money that comes into your business. So for me, it's like always looking at the numbers. I'm a numbers person. So I look at the numbers. I wake up in the middle of the night with my calculator on my phone. No lie. I'll think about something and I'll wake up in the middle of the night and look at the calculator and see if it makes sense. It's crazy, but it's just how my brain functions. And so what Laurie is saying is you got to create a new habit. And for some people, that's hard, but it's how bad do you want to make this work?
Right. That's the key. The sacrifices that you make today will be your blessings tomorrow.
Say it again, sister.
The sacrifices you make today will be your blessings tomorrow.
That's right.
Nothing better than having extra funding in an account, doing the things that you like to do in your life to keep you motivated to continue to save. It's just a wonderful thing. You have to take the time to want to do better when it comes to your finances. One checking account is not good enough. One savings account is not good enough. And then, research. A lot of times we don't research. I research. If I put my money here, how much am I going to make? Mm-hmm. I need to find the bank that's going to give me the highest payout on my money every month. Mm-hmm. And these are things that you need to do. There's different things that can help you. Like you said, Bank of America, they'll take your change, and that change adds up. Mm-hmm. Or get a job. Start off with one job and say, this is going to be my vacation fund.
In my office, Laurie, I have, so let me tell you, so before, I used to love Arizona tea, right? That was one of my, and it still is. I just don't drink it as much anymore because the sugar makes me sick. But I love Arizona tea. So in my house, on a weekly basis, I had at least 2 of those big gallon jugs of Arizona tea bottles left over. So what I started doing was, I was like, you know what? I like the bottle because it's sturdy plastic. I said, I hate to throw this bottle away. So I had my uncle paint them gold. And they became banks for me. And so I had them paint them gold because that represented wealth to me. That represented royalty, So I had them paint the and so you be creative. Whatever it takes for you to do the things you got to do, just do it. For me, I said, okay, I'm going to have my uncle paint this. And I used to have the really big water bottles when we had the water cooler in the house. That was my change thing. Now I have my Arizona bottles, and I'm going to take a picture of it and put it on the site, too. I'll probably do this when I get off. When I log this on, I'm going to take a picture. But it's painted gold, and it sits in my office because every day I spend most of my time in my office. That's why I spend most of my time. So even if I run out and pick up something, if I spend some money and I got change left, I'm coming back in the office and I put the change in my Arizona gold bank. So these are little things, but these are little things that can make a big impact on what you do.
Right. No, little things. You save $1 that's $365 at the end of the year.
Sure enough.
You start multiplying that. You start doing the $5 challenge. Just things that will push you to be financially savvy. You know, I collect piggy banks. I have about 70 banks from the dollar store to a trip that I've gone on, or somebody bringing me back something, because bringing me back a piggy bank or a bank in general, because they know that I collect them. You know, my goal is within the next 3 years to have all of these banks filled with change. Now, that's just a goal. If you get to a point and you realize that you're not reaching your goal, stretch it out a little bit longer. Don't be discouraged because you didn't get where you thought you needed to be. And that's another thing that happens. People are like, yes, it's 2019. My resolution is I'm saving by March. I'm going to save $1,000. Well, if you don't have $1,000 saved by March, stretch it out till May. Whatever it takes for you to know that if anything happened to you or your family, you'd be okay. You know, the worst thing that you can do, and I see it often, is a GoFundMe page for a funeral.
Yes.
GoFundMe page because my daughter broke her arm. You know, GoFundMe pages were created for emergencies that are out of everybody's control. Well, if you have an emergency fund at your disposal that came from you and your sacrifices, what's the difference?
You know, I gotta say something to that. The first part about the funeral. I have my life insurance license, right? And so my mom taught us early on that you need insurance for everything. And I remember that she got sick one time. And when I tell you she had an insurance to cover everything, the car note, all the bills. So we were not suffering. She was a single parent. She took care of me and my brother. But when I tell you there was an insurance for pretty much everything, there was insurance for everything. Well, I have a life insurance license, right? And so when you talk to people about life insurance, they always think, oh my God, that's the insurance lady. But you don't understand, it's income protection, it's wealth building, it's so many things that you can do other than just pay for a funeral. But at the very least, have enough coverage to cover the funeral. Now, if you want to talk about building some wealth because you want to, I got some discretionary money to send to the side, you got $20,000 sent to the side, call your girl, because I can put that in an annuity for you. But if you say, you know what, I just want to make sure that my loved ones are covered. I'm not trying to get rich off them. I just want to make sure that I put them away nicely. That's a $10,000 policy. And depending on their age, that's pennies. That's like a little bit of money. There are so many children, and you probably see more GoFundMe pages for children than anything, especially teenagers, because you feel like they're young and they're going to live forever, and they walk out here and they get hit by a car, or they're sitting in somebody's living room and somebody's pissed off at the boyfriend. I saw this on the news the other day and it was so sad. Young girl, I think she was 19 years old, at the boyfriend's house, sitting in the living room on the couch. Somebody pissed off at him, rolled by, shot the house up, and she got killed.
I saw that. That was horrendous.
Oh, that's so sad. Now, I don't know if they had insurance or not, but what if they did not? Now you got to go around to the family, and everybody got their nose turned up because everybody's so well put together. Because that's how I know. I have a family. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen on plenty of occasions where somebody in the family did not have insurance, did not have the right coverage. And the next thing you know, you got to go around and everybody looking crazy at you like, she ain't have coverage. Now she gone. And they still talking about it. It happens. So, excuse me.
It happens daily. And
daily.
The sacrifice is worth it. The blessing comes later.
That's right.
Having what you need when you need it is one of the best feelings that you can have.
Yep.
Not having it when you need it is the worst feeling you can have.
That's right.
Because that's when the I shoulda, coulda, woulda, and I shoulda happens. And that's not what you want in your life. You want to be able to, be able to go and touch some money if you need it. If not, let it grow.
That's right.
Separate your money. Separate your money. Separate your finances. Separate by categories. Track your money. Chart your money. And you'll be surprised on what your money will do for you.
And that's what we want. We want our money to grow for us. We don't want to be working for a lifetime I know I don't. Let me just say this. I don't want to work my whole life and at the end of my life I'm still broke. I don't want that. That's why I get up every morning and I come down here and I do the show and I go and I network and I do all these little things and I save money from my Bank of America statements and I save money in the piggy bank and I do all these little things. Let me tell you this story. My uncle, I had an uncle that passed away. We call him Uncle Bubba. He was the sweetest person ever, right? Next to my mom. And he said to my mother a long time before he got sick, he said, if anything ever happens to me, there is money all over this house. Right? And I was like, and he literally had little jars of money everywhere, Laurie, in the house.
Wow.
When he passed away, it was little jars and cans, coffee cans. They were everywhere. And he was very old-fashioned. Like, he still had a, the book that you used to go to the bank and they stamped the book?
Yes.
The passbook. Girl, he still had a passbook. I mean, literally had a passbook with stamps on it where he had gone to the bank. Because he was very old-fashioned. So he had money everywhere, but he understood what it meant to save money. And let me tell you something. I love him dearly because when my dad and my mom broke up, he was like a lifesaver. He helped my mom so much. And he helped pay for my college. And so he was just the greatest person. He never had children. I was like his child because I was the one always over there like, Uncle Bubba helped me. But it was other people that helped him too. And when he passed away, he had a bag in the attic with all these letters from people who had sent him saying, hey, help. And he would help Laurie and didn't tell a soul. Nobody knew. We didn't know. But my point is that he understood that he needed to save. He also knew that because of who he was, he wanted to be able to help people. And that's the other thing. When you have money saved up, you can help folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can help people.
You can help yourself. When you can help yourself, you can help others.
Yep.
If you can't help yourself, you can't help anybody.
That's right. That's right.
It's the truth. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it's all about. Financial knowledge, financial education, financial wealth building.
Yep.
It's one step at a time. It's one step at a time.
And that's key too. It is one step at a time. You're not gonna get it all in one day. You're not gonna understand it all in one day. If you're not a numbers person, you may never understand it unless you get some help. That's why Laurie is so key to people who want to make the next step, because she helps you create a financial plan. She helps you understand how to fix your credit. She helps you understand how to implement a budget, and she can surely help you how to find a house. Because that's how I met her, because she was running a program in New Jersey about how to get your first house, how to buy your first home. So, Laurie, talk to people a little bit about, some of the service you offer and how you can help them, create this financial plan so they can move forward and really live a life that they love. Because that's the other thing, too. Like, nobody wants to be working all the time and not really living. You're just working. You're just not living. You're working. You're making it through. You're doing okay. You want to live. And let me tell you something. Living does not always mean you have to spend money. But if you're always working, then you're not living, because you don't have time to do anything but work.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Well, some of the things that I've done and have implemented are financial parties. You get a group of young ladies together. You come, you invite me over. I sit down and I talk to people about money and finances and accounts and budgeting and being accountable. And then have a friend, each person have an accountability partner. And they are responsible for each other. That's one of the things that I created, because I thought that's the fun thing. But, like you said earlier, some people don't ever want you to know. So we have individual counseling. We have first-time home buying courses that we're going to be teaching this year at Tanya's library and a few other different places. We're going to do some Zoom training. We're going to do one-on-one. We're going to do financial wellness. Let's talk credit. All of these courses are going to be available. And one of the things that I'm trying to work on now, that I'm working on, is getting them so that you can go online at your own convenience for a small fee and take these courses. Because a lot of times people don't have the time. So it's about convenience. It's about having a series. So I'm going to have a series of different courses that I will be offering individuals, groups, everything. And then with the first-time home buying courses, it's going to be in phases. We're going to talk about what you need to do from the beginning to the end. And that's something that people don't do. They get you in the house, but then what happens after you get into the house? The post-purchase. How often do you need maintenance on items? How old are your windows? Do you know how old your roof is? You know, do you need to save? Do you need to convert your oil to gas? You know, do you live where there's a septic tank where you need to basically truly save, because one wrong thing down the toilet can back your whole house up? And I've seen that for myself. I mean, so we're real detailed about your finances and where they need to go and home ownership, because they all work hand in hand. Even if you're a renter, you still need to have emergency money. You know, people don't think so. What about car repair money? People don't categorize. That should be a category in your budget. If you never have to use it, then that can be converted into a down payment for another car. It could be, it can be used in for different things. My thing is, you got to know how to do it. We're here to help you get to where you need to be financially, and it's not an overnight process. It's time. It's time.
Well,
it
listen.
Is time.
Y'all have heard from the Queen. Now, look, you said something earlier. You said a couple of things that kind of touched me. I never heard of a post-purchase. I never heard the term before. I thought that was pretty cool. So I know people who have bought houses. I saw something on the news, and this was a new house, brand new. Nobody ever lived in it. And when they moved in the house started falling apart. What do you do in that situation? Yep. She's going to talk to you about the post-purchase. I never heard the term, but I think it's a great term, post-purchasing. She talked about, you said something earlier. Called the $5 challenge. What is that? Because I thought that was pretty cool. What's the $5 challenge?
$5 challenge is simple. It's an envelope, and it's $5 bills. And every time you break a 20, a 50, or a 10, and you get a $5 bill, you take your $5 bill and you put it in one of your envelopes. And if you're saving for something in particular, which you always should be, whether it's play money, whether it's additional principal payments on your car, whatever it may be, put that $5 in there for 6 months, and then take it and use it for what you need to use it for. I do the $5 challenge for travel. It works for me. From tipping to having small bills when I go to a different country or an island. It's easier to manage. A lot of times people are like, well, Laurie, we use, money orders and cashier's checks, and it's gotten complicated. Traveler's checks. Some people still use traveler's checks, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But because of the fraud that's going on, a lot of times people actually like cash. That's why they have safes now in all of the hotels that you go in. Cruise ships, they have safes. Some people are like, well, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, but you have to realize, how many people don't have a credit card? And they do everything cash and carry? Now, do I think that's a good idea? Absolutely not. You can have one credit card or two credit cards, because that's really all you need in life. And those two credit cards can take you where you need to be. But if you don't know how to manage your money first, then you don't need a credit card. Because most of the time what happens is you max out on your credit cards and you wind up with nothing but a collection account. That's not what we're doing here. That's not what I'm teaching. I'm teaching financial wealth all the way around. So, the $5 challenge works for me. If it doesn't work for you, do dollar bill. Do any extra dollar bill you have. Just make the sacrifice and put it in an envelope for a cause. You have to have a cause for your envelopes. And it'll work for you.
Listen, Laurie said some good stuff here. I know I'm sitting here saying to myself, oh my God. She said something about a financial party. And here's the thing, y'all. She's willing to meet you where you are in your freaking living room with financial parties. I know you've heard of these different kind of parties before. I've never heard of a financial party. So she's willing to meet you in your living room with people that you know and trust, that say, you know what, we're going to get together and we're going to get this thing right. We're going to make some money. We're going to save some money, and we're going to have some fun. Host a financial party. Reach out to Laurie for a financial party. Get some of the people that you know and love, and you know they could actually use the service. Don't bring Betty Lou to the table, who just want to come there and criticize and find fault, because she ain't gonna do nothing no way. And you know who she is, because she's the one that's always complaining about something and never changing anything. Don't bring her to the party. You don't need her to party. Exactly. You want to bring the people to the table who really want to be there, who are really serious about getting their financial house in order, who's really serious about financial fitness. She's coming to you with this party. Like, what more do you want? If you don't want to start doing something, and you don't want anything. You don't want to do nothing but spend money and complain about how broke you are. And listen, there's a place for you in this world too, at the bottom. So, that being said, Laurie, tell people how to reach out to you, because we want to make sure that they can either talk to you more about the financial party, talk to you about credit. Now, when you said let's talk credit, the first thing popped in my mind was she need to have a podcast, right? That was the first thing that came to mind. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. And I wrote that down. Let's talk credit. I'm like, that is nice. You know me with these little sayings. But anyway, tell people how to reach out to you, because you are helping a lot of people. Let's make 2019 the best year ever. The best is still yet to come, but we are living in the present and the right now. Let's make this a great year. And let's start out by getting our money right. When you got your money right and your health right, you could probably have a really, really great life. Because those are the two things that you need really to make it in this life. A little bit of money and excellent health. And some of you may not have that, but work on both of them, because you can. And you got experts out here like Laurie, the queen of finance, who's willing to help you. She's here. She's going to come and have a party in your living room. Invite the kids and the husband. Listen, honey, we're gonna teach the kids how to leverage this money that they're spending on these games and sneakers. Let's talk about that for a second. So I'm going to shut my mouth right now so Laurie can tell you how to reach out to her, so you can get her to help you and help your family and friends start to build wealth. Go ahead, Laurie.
Okay. So the first way you can reach me is via email. And I have two email addresses, so whichever one you'd like to use is fine with me. The first one is makeyourcreditmatter@gmail.com. And the second one is thequeenoffinance1@gmail.com. You can reach me directly via cell phone, office number 201-736-2209. That's 736-2209. That's a 201 area code, and I do travel, so you can have a group anywhere, and I will come.
And she does travel. She should be called the queen of travel, because she's probably going on a cruise next week. She's always traveling. Listen, that's what you can do when you know how to manage your money and put that travel fund in place. You can travel a lot. She travels a lot. Like, if you don't know, look at her Facebook and Instagram. You'll see her. She's on a cruise somewhere, somebody's islands, chilling, because she's going to help somebody save some money. She made some money. That's what she does. So, listen.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being my guest today. I am really excited about moving forward with 2019. I know there's some great things that are coming down the pike that you're going to be working on. And I appreciate you so much with sharing this great information with my audience. I hope they got something out of it, and I hope they reach out to you, because, it's nothing worse than having dreams with no money. It's nothing worse than having dreams with no plan, And so, and I know a lot of dreamers. And listen, things can be possible, but you have to plan for them. You have to budget. You have to plan. You can't just have a dream. You gotta make plans for the dream and take action, because that's the other thing too. Right. So I just want to thank you so much. I got another guest coming on Thursday. You don't want to miss this one either. This is like the whole money week right here, because her talk is about creating generational wealth and how to protect your assets. She's an attorney, and she knows how to protect your assets. Let me tell you something. If you are thinking about doing anything where you're going to have some property and you want to save it and leave it for the children, you don't want to miss this call. If you already have property and assets and you want to make sure your family gets those assets, you don't want to miss this show on Thursday. She's an attorney. She's going to tell you how to protect your assets, how to build generational wealth. Listen, that is our show for now. I really appreciate you, Laurie. And I'll be back again tomorrow. You're very, very welcome. And I want to have you back because there's a lot of stuff we did not get a chance to talk about. However, she may be talking about it on her own show. And
anytime.
She may be talking about it on her own show, but if she does come back with us, there's still a lot of stuff that we did not cover, and I know we could cover it, especially when it comes to the home buying process. And we may have her back before she launches her show, or even after she launches it. I'm just putting it out there. She's going to launch a show. She didn't tell me that. I'm just throwing it out there. Plant a seed in her head, but
look. I've well received it. I did. I've well received it. That's going to be on my list. That's my list in 2019.
Let's talk credit, y'all. So listen, thanks again, Laurie. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great episode to help you learn more about Gwinnett and help Gwinnetians learn more about how to start, grow a business, manage money, where to live, where to play right here in Gwinnett County, because that's what we do. We have fun here in Gwinnett County, but we also mean business. So I'll be back again tomorrow with another great episode, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Please join me. Share this episode with your friends if you got anything out of it. Share it with a friend and come back again tomorrow. And don't forget to subscribe. Go on over to goodmorninggwinnett.com and subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. And by the way, I have a shop there and I have a shirt that says I love Gwinnett. If you love Gwinnett, click on shop. There's a bunch of shirts there. Rep your zip code. Whatever zip code you're in, there's probably a shirt there. Rep your zip code. Go on over to Good Morning Gwinnett. Click on shop. Right after you click on subscribe, the subscription is free. The shop is not. Pick up a shirt because that helps us keep this show going. When you buy a shirt that says I love Gwinnett or rep your zip code, it helps us help me keep the show going. So go on over to goodmorninggwinnett.com and check it out. Check out past episodes if you missed the episode because they're all live on when I'm broadcasting, but they're also on demand for later listening because I know some people are at work and they cannot listen. Thanks again, Laurie. I'll be back again tomorrow, God willing, with another great episode. You're very welcome. With another great episode, and until next time, make it a great day.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Good Morning Gwinnett. Make sure to tune in daily at 9 a.m. Eastern Time to find out what's happening around Gwinnett. If you missed an episode, go to www.goodmorninggwinnett.com to catch up. If you like this episode, go ahead and subscribe to the show now and share it with your friends.